I would like to start this whole podcast off with a bold move that I'm doing in real life right now.
Okay.
You know,
was that it?
no, that was me dropping a lens cap.
Oh, okay.
That wasn't as bold as this. Do you know those like Starbucks pre-made canned drinks, the ones that are like espresso and cream, like the double shots?
Oh, I know.
You know those? Okay. I have just been casually drinking those, but I figured out the secret. I have a glass here. It's iced. It's an iced drink. Now, this morning I made coffee and forgot about it. Sometimes that just happens when you're busy and you have a lot of things going on.
Yep.
When you're a guy like me, I forgot I made coffee. So the coffee sat there for a really long time. I went and ran errands, came back, and I'm like, oh, hey, I made coffee over there. So I proceeded to pour that coffee that was once hot, now cold, in the fridge. Did I say pour?
Yeah, no, you said pour.
I poured all of the coffee in the fridge and let it drip down slowly and stain everything. But it's still in the mug. I put it in the fridge for a while because I was like, I have an idea. I'm going to do this in like an hour. So I let it get cold, like super cold.
Okay.
And then I grabbed an espresso and cream, one of those things I was talking about earlier, and I combined the two in an iced drink.
Oof.
And I realized that is what you're supposed to do.
What?
You're not supposed to drink them out of the can. You're supposed to pour them in coffee. It's creamer. It's espresso and cream.
Wait, you're not... No, espresso is coffee, though.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to pour espresso in coffee. I mean, you're welcome to.
But what happens... No, because when you get coffee, and you're like, add an extra shot. That means add an extra shot of espresso.
Yeah, but those are only 2 espresso drinks. So you're just changing the ratio of espresso to milk or cream or sugar or whatever else. I mean, it's going to...
You're changing the ratio?
Yeah. If you say I want 2 shots of espresso in a blank, that means as opposed to just 1 shot. Or whatever the typical amount of shots is for that beverage size.
I'm not sure I entirely believe you.
I
think
worked
you're
at a
making that
coffee
up.
shop for a year and a half. You learn that like day 1. So the year and a half doesn't even matter.
Regardless of whatever shit you're making up about this coffee shop you may not have worked at, I don't know. It's a good idea and everyone should try it. I think it was a great move by me and it's amazing.
Nice.
This is the Bankstandin podcast. That's what this is. As you may or may not know, I ran the Bankstandin podcast. I think we were doing it through 2018. It may have trickled into 2019, right around the time I had started a series known as By Release, and then that consumed my life as it slowly turned my job title into YouTuber, and then I kind of put this aside for a while, and I never really looked back at it as much as that hurt me inside. But now, under the circumstance of being lost and afraid in this scary, scary world, I have decided that the name is going to come with me and Nine Rain / Aaron. Who are you now that we're here? Are you going by your real name or your Nine Rain guy name?
Ah, shit, doesn't really matter. I'll go by either.
All right. Well, whoever's watching, whatever you're most comfortable thinking about him as is what he is to you. But we wanted to keep the Bankstandin name alive because it's a really cool name.
Yeah, mostly it just sounds dope.
It does. There's a good ring to it or something. I don't know. Like everyone can relate to Bankstandin, even if you have no idea what it means. You're like, you know what? I resonate with that. I think I know exactly what's going on there, and I like it. So we brought the name with us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I guess the reason, why we started this thing is really twofold. One is some kind of moderate narcissism.
Oh, yeah, moderate. We'll say moderate.
Yep.
It's a good one.
And the second reason would be we've been asked to do this a lot, often.
Begged and pleaded.
And I hell yeah. I hit. I mean, Jimmy and I have been throwing this around for months, and thought it was about damn time.
It was about damn time. I don't think I've ever gotten more questions because we started the Bankstandin thing, me and Helwand, which I talked to him. I got his blessings to keep this name.
Thank you, Helwand. We wanted the name really badly. It's so cool.
Yeah, it is a really cool name. It's one of my proudest names, but I know that it was me and Blake who had initially started this concept, like Bankstandin. It was just me and him for like the first 3 episodes until we got a guest on. Or maybe no, it was just 1 episode, and then we got Kevin on, and then we talked to him. Mm-hmm. But regardless, it was me and Blake, and we were like the Bankstandin guys. And I was like, damn, it doesn't feel right to just bring Bankstandin along and not, get his full blessings like I'm asking to marry his daughter or something. Like I need that approval to feel right about it. So we got it. And Helwand will always be an OG Bankstandin guy. Maybe we'll even get him on here a couple times, just to have the Bankstandin guy, the OG Bankstandin guy on. But regardless, the name is here, we're here, and we're going to make a podcast about literally whatever we feel like, and we're going to actually stick to it and make this a thing that we don't leave in the dust. So,
yeah.
There we go.
So, I guess we'll start off, Jimmy. I've been holding questions in that I've been just dying to ask you.
Really?
But I've been saving them for the podcast.
You have a list?
No, just like it's less of a list and more of like a amorphous blob in my deep memory somewhere.
Okay.
You're graduating soon.
I'm in 10 days from right now. 10 days I will be a college graduate. I am no longer a student of any institution.
It's Cinco de Mayo today, isn't it?
It is Cinco de Mayo.
Ah, that's nice.
Wouldn't know. Haven't been outside.
Okay. What do you tell us a little bit about you're doing film? What's your degree?
Yeah. I should be here's the perfect case scenario that I've been wanting to go through with for a long time. Is I plan on coming here and going to school for film. That was my thing. Very bold move to most people thinking about going to school for film, and I knew it going in. But you know what? It's kind of worked itself out a little bit because I was active with it, and now I have a bunch of nerd virgins alongside me. We're all one and the same, and we like RuneScape somewhat, kind of. And I use film in that sense, and it's worked out a lot. So I was really excited to kind of use that whole platform as almost like a resume portfolio thing, and go to like LA or New York and just feel it out, get connected, and start it up. But according to the internet's information, not the best move to do.
And no one's hiring.
Because the subway there, that's why.
Are there even production studios in New York?
Yeah. I went to New York this past summer, and I toured studios, mostly in the, I don't know why I can't remember the actual tower's name, but the NBC studios. I saw the Saturday Night Live set, Jimmy Fallon set. Like, they're all ran out of one building, pretty much, like the major NBC ones. But then there's also, it's a huge theater place down there. So everyone's running around that district, the theater district.
Right. Yeah, there's a lot of like stage acting and stuff on that side of the world or the continent.
Lot.
Yeah, I don't know, because I'm only familiar with the LA side of things, and it's a really small world. Everything's within like I don't know, like 4 or 5 blocks from one another. Like,
yeah, it's so condensed.
Yeah, where I worked in Burbank was a bunch of the major, just on my block was a bunch of the major production studios. And then, like, if they weren't on our street, they were just around the corner. My Home Depot was right next to, like, the Warner Brothers and then just down the road, like a stone's throw down the road, was Disney. It was all, I mean, it's all right in one tiny little area around like Burbank and North Hollywood, and
Yeah.
so I would assume, for the sake of convenience, New York is much the same way, where everything's kind of centralized.
Oh God, dude. It's New York. New York is like the most compact area I've ever experienced. It's like you people say that before you visit, like they'll give you like a precursor before you go there. Like, look, it's very busy. You might want to, plan out some routes before you start doing anything.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, yeah, of course. Why wouldn't I? And then you get there and you're like, oh, I really should have planned out some routes and plans before I got here, because I did not take that seriously. And everything is so close, but it also takes you 45 minutes to go a mile anywhere you want to do, what you want to do by vehicle. So you have to walk everywhere you want to go. So, it just, your whole plans, if you're not prepared, just change immediately as soon as you find out what New York is.
How many times have you been to New York?
I went as a kid like twice, and then the first time as an adult this past summer. Yeah.
Like a little baby kid? Like a
little,
child?
Yeah, I was a child. Little baby.
Did
Not
you
knowing
go
what the hell was
specifically
going on.
just to tour the studios this past time?
Yeah, this past summer I just went down there to like get a feel of the atmosphere, just because it's that's all you hear when you're in the film industry, like L.A., New York, L.A., New York.
Did you like New York?
I liked a lot of parts of it, but I also hated a lot of parts of it because it's a scary place in certain areas, and it's also very intimidating and expensive. God damn it, it is expensive to live there. Holy shit, dude. Everything is very, prices are jacked up. I may have gotten a little spoiled living in the Midwest for the last 4 years, and not remembered what prices of things are, because everything's a lot cheaper around these parts. But New York, dude.
Did you like the vibe?
I think I did. I did like the vibe. It was just, everyone's on a mission there. You're walking around the street, and if you need to go from, everyone's got a point A to point B.
Yeah.
No one's dilly-dallying.
Yep.
No one's fucking around like, oh, let's have a great day outside.
Yeah.
Everyone's, get the fuck out of my way.
Yep.
Don't look at me. Don't even breathe near me. It's amazing that people even started spreading this subway thing around, because everyone seems to avoid each other, but they can't. Everyone yearns to just never be by people in New York, in like the most compact city.
Yep.
But that's just their attitude. No one's nice.
Even like the little time I spent around the city was just kind of dirty, and there were a lot of people, and then the people that you did see looked like they didn't want you to be there.
You're an obstacle in their day.
And I don't think I passed one person that didn't have earbuds in and was just like straight lining, eyes ahead. They didn't look at you.
Yeah.
They didn't acknowledge you. It was like, I need to be somewhere. Born and raised in Austin, we're pretty laid back as far as cities go, and the people here are pretty kind. And we got a lot more space, and there's trees, and the sky is blue. So, we got those things going for us. And
Sky's blue, dude.
yeah. Well, I mentioned that because when I lived in LA, the sky was not blue. And I didn't ever
LA
see the
sky.
Huh?
What's the LA sky color?
Brown.
Brown?
Yeah, from most, like, half dust and half smog. When you're
What part
flying,
of LA were you in?
Burbank, you can see the cloud of brown hovering around LA upon landing.
So nice.
Yeah. I actually
Love
wonder
that.
if in the quarantine, if circumstances have changed. I mean, I bet there's a lot less pollution in the air, a lot less people driving. Nothing kills the soul like sitting in traffic.
I've experienced the clusterfuck of highways and all of the rapid maneuvers that you have to take if you're lucky enough to not be in traffic. I went down there a few times to like the Newport area and around there. And, you know, I usually went down there for beach things because growing up in Las Vegas, it was a 4.5 hour drive. And, you know, I probably went down there maybe once every 2 months or something, if that. But good God, dude, it was a nightmare everywhere. Because if it was not stuck in traffic, stop and go for 8 hours, it was, you know, people on your left and right are going 90 miles per hour, trying, I think, to deliberately kill somebody else, because, you know, there's just not a lot going on in their life and they need to get some excitement. So that was my LA highway memories, I guess. That's all I think about. It's just you're never safe. California drivers, I feel like that's a saying around the United States.
Most drivers, I bet a lot of other places have their bad drivers. I don't know, maybe not the Midwest. They're kind of, I feel like you guys would be pretty chill.
We have minimum speed signs. Do you have those?
No, but I like that idea. That sounds great.
People drive slow here. People have to be told that there's a legal speed that you need to at least hit if you're driving. It says like 70 and 40. Like you need to be between 40 and 70. That's your range.
I mean, is that maybe, are you in an agrarian part of the world? Like, are they running tractors and shit on the road? And is that to like deter big machinery that can't hit those speeds, or?
Possibly. I don't know, dude. I really don't. I know there is some, I've driven on the I-70 from Kansas to Nevada, like 4 times now. And I've seen certain signs that say shit like that, but just the regular highways here, they say it. They still say it, and I don't know why. I have no idea. I've never seen fucking Freddie from McGrubber's farm come down and drive his tractor in front of traffic and cause road rage or anything like that. It's not a common thing around here, as far as I know. But I think it's literally just because people just don't want to go where they're going, and so they just take it real slow or something. I don't know. I have no idea. But anyway, basically, that whole thing is segueing into I'm probably gonna be moving to Texas.
Hell yeah,
most likely.
brother. Hell yeah.
Because I pressured Nine Rain to be okay with that, to live near him. And it made me feel like I had a friend in my life, because I've never had one before.
very
so it was a really
manipulative.
cool experience. Yeah, very. So appreciate it.
Yeah.
Appreciate you manipulating me into thinking that you're my friend, and then me pressuring you to take it far enough to let me move near you once I get done with this whole college thing. That was really kind and considerate of you.
Yeah. Anytime, man.
You're a good guy.
I wouldn't say that.
But it's exciting. That's an exciting thing. Not LA or New York, that's for sure, but I think I'm kind of okay with that. I'm kind of very okay with that. And just going somewhere completely different that I never thought I'd be moving for a year, and just making shit, just making content, maybe even working at a 7-Eleven or something in the meantime. Who knows?
Hell yeah. We don't have those. No, we do. Still, there's a couple.
I'll start one.
Most of them turned into, I don't know, like who took over? Valero
Probably
kinda
Disney.
Slammed everybody out, and Exxon.
Probably Disney. They own everything.
Yeah, Disney owns Valero. That's not true.
That's
Although technically, I think I heard that as of like yesterday was May the 4th, and I
Yes.
was told that Disney said something along the lines of, if you tweet, "May the 4th be with you," Disney said, "We own your tweet."
No, they didn't.
I think they said that.
They can
Through the-
monetize your tweet?
I don't know about that, but I think they said something along the lines of, that's our intellectual property if you say, "May the 4th be with you."
Makes sense.
My initial
that is their
reaction was,
slogan.
"Fuck you, Disney."
Yeah, that was that's my reaction about a lot of things with Disney.
And apparently there was a lot of people on the internet, like Twitter, who started tweeting sexual things with "May the 4th be with you."
No,
so
that's
they're all
hot.
just like weirdly sexual. So they're like, "Claim this, Disney.
That's super hot.
You can have my tweet."
Now, let me ask you this. Have you ever had a personal conflict with Disney before?
A personal conflict with
So,
Disney?
like Disney directly affecting you and whether it be your content or something of that sort?
I don't think so. Not that I'm aware of. I mean, there's probably companies that Disney owns that I'm not aware that they own said company, and maybe
Yeah. They own every company at this point.
Yeah. So there's a chance, but I don't think. What about you? Have you ever run in with Disney?
I've got heavy beef with Disney. They
That heavy beef.
I think it was episode 21 of my by release series, and I put in.
Didn't they try and take William Tell Overture or something?
They try to take like the most famous chords of Beethoven's of all time, and it was about a 6-second clip of a. Keep in mind, this isn't Disney's property. It was gotten from a licensed music site, and I had rights to use that song, and it was just the good old fashioned dun 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 dun. That
Disney just said mine.
And Disney, they've bribed YouTube. They have to have. They had to have come to YouTube and be like, look, I know you like money, we do too, and we could probably win in most money scenarios that you throw at us, like any money
In
thing.
a money fight, we've got a lot of moxie.
We've got a lot of that. You will not win. So let's come to an agreement here. Anything, any music made before that whole 1920 business in copyright laws, that's ours now. So what they did is they hired an orchestra, and this orchestra has published. I think it's like some Chicago Tribune, and they just performed a bunch of songs like Beethoven, Mozart, Bach, everything. They published it and put it on Spotify and iTunes for sale.
Just so it would be in their algorithm and they could jack your money?
Just so that the automatic detection system of audio will pick up anything similar, which is
oh my God.
every rendition of every Mozart and Beethoven.
Oh my God.
And so
that is the least surprising thing I've heard today.
So the bit in the video was great. It was very random. And granted, I could have just been like, oh, fuck you guys, and removed the 6-second clip. But I'm a stubborn asshole, so I went in and, I appealed it with all of the evidence of saying, hey, this is the track I used. This is not by this. This is not this performance that it's marked under. And Disney did not reply to it. And they kept my video on escrow for 30 days. And if you don't reply to the copyright claim in 30 days, the person who's disputing it automatically wins. So for 30 days, they just did not acknowledge this claim dispute. And it took 30 days to get back the rights to my video for that 6-second da-na-na-na that they tried taking.
That's so cool, man.
It was awesome, dude. So the next video, being an asshole like I was, I did an ad. I think it was for, I think it was NordVPN. I did an ad for NordVPN, and at the very end of it, I was just like, this is by release, and you're watching Mickey Mouse, baby. And I drew the Mickey Mouse thing that the Disney Channel people do. They, like, hey, it's me, Cole Sprouse. You're watching Sweet Life of Zach and Cody, baby.
Yeah.
And they fucking draw the Mickey Mouse ears in the corner of the screen. So I just put that in as like a little petty thing, and it was worth it. I liked it. I enjoyed it.
Nice.
Fuck Disney. I hate Disney, dude. They're terrible people.
I'm not a big fan. I liked it back in the day, but they've seemed to have trampled all over what Walt was trying to do. Man, poor Walt. He's probably rolling in his grave.
Just like Steve Jobs, dude. They're the two
Poor
guys.
Steve. The copyright for Mickey Mouse is like expiring soon. I don't know if expiring is the correct term, but expiring. They've already renewed it, I think, twice in the history of Disney. Because copyrights were originally designed to not outlast like the life of the person who originally copyrighted it. And so Mickey Mouse probably what will happen is Disney will rebuy the copyright for like billions. I don't know. Or Mickey Mouse is going to become public domain.
Mickey Mouse will not become public domain.
Maybe.
I know for a fact of life that Mickey Mouse will never be public domain.
I don't know, dude. Disney has a habit of losing assets and not stepping on everyone else's IPs. Oh, wait, no. It's the exact opposite. You're right. They're not going to lose Mickey Mouse.
Right.
They would rewrite laws before they lost Mickey Mouse.
Copyright sucks. It's just a part of being a video maker, which both of us are.
Yeah.
How's that been treating you?
Not.
Treating you?
I mean, what do you mean? Like the making money on YouTube?
Yeah, you finally got monetized, right?
Yeah, that was a nightmare for a year.
Yeah.
And it was not my fault.
No.
To be clear, there was
Never
literally
would be.
nothing I could do about it, except everything I did. And it still took a year to be resolved. I was persistent for a year with Google AdSense. Through my only form of communication, which is email. Unfortunately, they called it, I think, a glitch, which, what the fuck is a glitch? That's the most bullshit, untechnical term. Oh, it's just a glitch in our system. That doesn't mean anything. That means somebody fucked up. That's what that means.
With the amount of views you started getting, you probably missed out on a couple $1,000s for sure.
Yeah, I had well over 1 million views by the time I got monetized. They're not going to back pay me. I'm a content creator on YouTube. They don't give a fuck. So, it doesn't bother me. I mean,
of course. Why would it bother you? You know,
it was frustrating to go through, but I'm mostly just glad that's behind me. Anyways, and now that we got monetized, now we have this apocalypse ravaging the earth. Advertisers are not spending money because they don't have any money because nobody's working and nobody has money. And so advertisers are not spending money on ads. So YouTube's not making as much money. And for some reason, YouTube can just decide, you know what? We're paying everybody 60% less this month.
Yeah, it's bad. It is
just period.
Terrible.
Your CPM now sucks ass.
Yeah. Thanks, YouTube. I love it. It makes me feel really good.
I'm not getting less views.
Nope.
I'm still running just as many ads.
Look, I'm not one to ever talk about myself. I'm a very humble guy, but people like me a lot. Like, I'm a really, really cool guy, and I'm still getting views. People are still liking my stuff, and YouTube's like, man, that doesn't really matter to us at all. And CPM has never been lower, so I love it.
Every time, it seems like weekly, every time I open up YouTube, they have a new bar of suggested, not suggested, promoted, paid for content that is taking the place of the homepage.
Well, you don't love it?
What it means...
They did it for you.
Allegedly,
They know you better than you know yourself.
Well, and the stuff that really bothers me is when they just foist content on everybody that YouTube decides, that their executive decides, like, oh, we're going to make a bar that's called Staying at Home. And the stay-at-home thing's going to have these 5 videos on it. Who asked for that? And what idiots are clicking on that? If you're clicking on these videos, please stop. Because you're telling YouTube, that they're doing a good job. I don't know if you're on your mobile device and you slip and you exit like, oh shit, and you open it up and they get a view from you. Dislike it. And move on.
Susan is just flexing in the mirror every morning, knowing how good of an idea everything she comes up with is.
I don't understand it at all.
You know what the
And-
worst part about YouTube is? The
Uh,
worst part.
Viewers.
Yeah, everyone watching and
Yeah.
listening, first and foremost.
No, what's the worst
bad
part?
people. Second worst, I guess you could say, is the trending page.
Oof.
Holy shit. I don't think I've ever been more upset looking at a page on the internet more than scrolling through that. It's terrible.
Who watches that?
Children.
Who clicks on those videos? And
Chil-
if they're children,
millions of people.
If they should,
millions of people.
yeah, apparently.
Yeah.
I don't know any of them. They don't. I'm not even sure they exist. I've never met someone who
Well,
watches.
we're not
the
in
trending
middle school
page.
anymore, so I would hope you don't.
Look, if they're
don't know
middle
anyone.
schoolers, that
Yeah.
content is not child friendly. They need to get off the platform.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying, Susan.
Susan hates you, dude. Just want to let you know. I know it's a harsh reality because you really looked up to Susan, but
Man,
she
we get
fucking
along-
hates you, dude.
We get along fine, Jimmy.
That's what you think. That's what you think.
Yeah, she's.
But
playing
that's
me.
why she thinks she knows you so well, and here you are, upset. So what I'm getting at here is you're not enjoying YouTube, being a creator.
I am enjoying it as much as
You hate it.
I can.
It's a good time sometimes.
It's I still don't take it for granted. I will say, because this didn't exist 15 years ago. You couldn't make videos and just throw them up somewhere, and a year later have something from that. I mean, there's a lot more work involved than just the video creation process, but YouTube makes it pretty simple. But
Yeah.
I don't like where they're headed. No, I don't think anyone does, except for
No.
maybe MSNBC, CNN, Fox, all these companies that are just throwing money at them to get on their homepage. They like it.
Oh, they're enjoying it
Mm-hmm.
thoroughly. I think that's what it is the actual industry of filmmaking and television are like just now glancing over and be like, wait a second, that YouTube thing looks pretty cool. We should probably look into that a little bit.
Yeah.
Once they started looking over and being like, wait a second, people are watching that over there. Let's go check that out for a second. Hold on.
Yeah.
Let's get involved.
I mean, think of it like this: like, what we don't think twice nowadays when we see a YouTube video with 100,000 views.
No.
No, we don't even think twice. I bet
get
there's some
upset.
Netflix originals that would kill for 100,000 views.
So we're like really cool then in Netflix's eyes.
Yeah. I mean, and as far as like overhead and cost, we're creating stuff that people are watching at a higher demand than mainstream big company huge project outlets.
Now that we've established that YouTube is a terrible place to be, which is also the reason me anyway, that I have any sort of income. I am, for one, looking forward to not making exclusively RuneScape videos anymore.
Right. Yeah.
And you are still, you've had a few ideas. We did that Tarkov video together, the Ranger Rick Tarkov video, and that was so fun. It was so much work. That was a 2-3 month process of making that video and making it right. But
Yep.
good God, I adore that video.
Yeah.
That will have a special place in my heart as the first non-RuneScape video I ever made, and it was so fun.
How's it doing right now? Like 45K, something like that?
Yeah, it's at like 47K now. It went up a lot more after I did a video with General Sam. People came over to check out my stuff, and I mean, not people that came from him are not necessarily interested in RuneScape shit. So
Right.
that's the video they all clicked on, and they loved it. And it was like, holy shit, I need more of that, please.
Cool.
So it's so weird, dude. I feel like it's every community though. I thought it was just the old school community that was like very particular about what they want to see from creators. But it's not the case. It's all games have their set need for a creator to just continue making one game, videos on one game.
Yeah.
Because I talked to Sam about it pretty extensively because he found himself in a very similar hole with Skyrim, and then I think with Rust.
Oh, right.
as well.
Didn't he do VR Skyrim stuff?
Yeah, he did
Oh my,
strictly Skyrim.
Dude, the VR Skyrim stuff that he made was like some of the first General Sam content that I saw years ago.
Yeah, they've got millions of views. It was crazy.
They're freaking hilarious.
Yeah. And so he was for a long time just the Skyrim guy, and he didn't want to be the Skyrim guy.
That's weird. I would have never thought of him as like a Skyrim guy, but I mean, he had such a big body of work at the time that most of it has to do with, so here's the thing, it has mostly to do with audience expectation. And I have the same standards for content creators or platforms or wherever I show up to get whatever I want to see. If I show up to a platform, or whether that's a YouTube channel or a Twitch stream or Netflix or whatever you're using, and what is there is different than what you had seen before and what you wanted, then obviously you're going to be like, what the hell?
Oh, yeah.
I came for X and this is why. And if you're a YouTube channel that just has a bunch of other videos on it, then people will show up and immediately you're not betraying their expectations because they show up and go, oh, they do all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
And so really there's probably just like a hump you have to get through where you got to build up a kind of a body of work on your channel, and then you're good to go.
Right. And I think it's also a matter of making sure that I'm drawing people in because of who I am rather than the game I'm playing. I think I've done a decent job at it, hence why I didn't expect that video to get 47k views. People don't necessarily click on things that are not the norm from what they expect. So I was like very, very happy with how it did. And that was exactly what you were just saying is what Sam told me is there's going to be you're going to hit a low point before you start seeing a rise.
Do you specifically write content? Like, is this part of your thought process when you're writing content? Do you sometimes write stuff that you design specifically with the thought in mind that I want to entertain people with my personality and my jokes as opposed to the game that I'm playing?
I think it more comes from I think yes in a way, but I think the thought process is a little different. It's I think what I normally approach it with is, can everyone understand this? If people find this video and they're not familiar with RuneScape, will they comprehend this joke? Which it's okay to make like exclusive RuneScape context related jokes, but at the end of the day, I'm very happy because a lot of my audience either does not play RuneScape anymore or used to play it when they were a kid, or they have never played it. So the fact that I have those guys, it's like I need to keep them in mind. And also I love those kind of people because they're way more open to other content. It means that they're there not because of RuneScape, because otherwise they'd be watching, PKing videos or whatever. But they're watching me do the quests in the game. Like, that's not necessarily content people are interested in. And that's all the series is. And I'm glad to have an audience that doesn't have to have all the context in the world. So I take that, and I'm going to continue doing that with other games, which it was difficult to do with Tarkov. Because I was talking to Kevin about it, and I think that's what threw him off, is because just even though if you watch the video back, it doesn't pertain to any Tarkov mechanics, but I think the fact that we had to work around Tarkov mechanics so hard to make it immersive,
a story,
and Tarkov's mechanics really prevent people from doing that.
Yep.
That's what made it so difficult. But when I showed him footage from Red Dead and the concept I was doing for that I'm still like in the works for, just because Red Dead, you need no context whatsoever the way it's set up. There's nothing in your way when you turn all the HUD off. You're literally just watching an animated Western scene, and whatever happens, and it's amazing.
Dude, that makes me want to play some Red Dead.
After we're done here, we'll fucking hop on. Who
I'm
cares?
being careful with playing other games because I want to save my original experiences for footage. Like, I want that sense of wonder of me discovering the game to be part of the video.
Yeah.
And so I hesitate to dive into a lot of games because I think to myself, I want to make content with this. And then I look at my next 3 weeks and I'm like, already I have so much footage sitting around that still needs to be edited from X, Y, and Z. It keeps me from playing other games.
Dude, when we got into Far Cry, neither of us made a video with it, and we played that so much and had so many different ideas for what to do. That was what is like the best way to look at it, is through our Far Cry experience, because we both got the game. I played it like a day before you and then told you about it, and then you got it. So we hopped in each other's games, and actually no, I think we got it on the same day. And
I don't remember.
Yeah, we just started hopping in the co-op stuff, and there were so many funny things that happened, and we got all this footage, and we just didn't know what to do with it.
One part where you drive off of you're on the hood, and I drove off of the road down to this guy fishing by the water, and something exploded, and dude, like the moments in that game, I was dying of laughter.
It's so funny, dude.
So many different
I was
times.
fishing. You were driving, and I was just I had a fishing pole, and I was just trying to like snag onto things on the top of the roof.
Yeah.
And we flew through the air.
Yeah.
And it's such a goofy game, but I feel like that experience, it was like, wow, we really do need to start thinking about this shit more, because we went in and had all this fun, but then we still didn't know what to do with all the footage because we didn't go in with like an idea,
like a pitch.
So, yeah. It's just finding a style that works with different games, because it's not I think that's what makes it different than RuneScape, because RuneScape, you can do either a concept after the fact when you record shit, or you can do it while you're doing it with live commentary, and you can just kind of work with footage, whereas in other games you kind of have to have a game plan before you go in.
Well, and we're so practiced in RuneScape, like the whole point is the whole point of the game is progression.
Yeah.
And it's achieving whatever arbitrary goal.
Right.
So all you have to do for a pitch is say, I achieved blank. And then throughout the video, show why it's important, and then make the journey entertaining. So where at the end of the video, it always has a payoff of, hey, we did the thing, and whatever the thing is largely irrelevant. Like, One Kick Rick is the perfect example of that. I killed the farmer at the chicken farm, and it was pretty damn hype in episode 2. I get comments about that fight more than almost anything else I've made.
Oh my God.
And it was a parody, and the whole thing was ironic. And I don't know, I set it up as the like ultimatum, the big goal, and then I just made sure I didn't overtrain, so there was at least a chance that I died in the fight. I just went for it, and it just turned out pretty okay.
Yeah,
but
that's a good point though. It's like I feel like it's very easy to come up with. I wouldn't say easy. It's easier than other games to come up with concepts through RuneScape, because it is all progress and achievement. You're like, okay, I want to get from this point from the account to this point, and I can publish a video all about that and call it a day.
Yeah,
It's like,
and there's like Ru- RuneScape at a glance seems like a really simple, basic, kind of lacking game.
Yeah.
But it has to be the most complex, in-depth game as far as breadth of content that exists.
Yeah, it's true.
The amount of time you have to spend to even have a moderately passable account by the community standards is insane. I wonder the amount of content that RuneScape YouTubers put up as a whole and streamers. Are we just like the most content-rich little like niche on the internet?
Yeah, we've got to be, dude. I mean, it's weird to think about, but yeah, I mean, there's probably more content produced for RuneScape than there is most other games, other than obviously like the mainstream games that get people.
Like Minecraft would kick ass with those numbers, for example. But RuneScape, like, it's just I keep finding more channels of people who have been creating content for years.
Yeah, I want to get out of it so bad. I would love to get out of it, to get out of RuneScape. Dude, did you make any RuneScape videos before you came back? When did you come back? Like 2018?
I started playing again, I think late in 2018.
So you never made content on RuneScape prior to that?
The first One Kick Rick video I ever made was my first RuneScape video, and is still my most successful.
Yeah, you shocked the world.
That was a year and 3 months ago, something like that. It came out, I believe, late January of 2019. There's 1,000 things I would do, not differently, but better.
Of course. I'd hope so by now.
It's really quite bad.
Yeah.
As an overall like video. If I was grading for video creator school, I would not give it a good grade. But the idea, I actually get lost in the weeds. Like that's something I have to remind myself often is to slow my roll on some of the edits and the video and the editing. Really, I can overdo it like mad.
That's just that's the way the creative mind works. Is you overthink everything.
Well, and then you like as you get better, you keep expecting more every single video.
Oh yeah, I love it. Feels so good.
I'm at least glad that everybody is in the same boat. Well, a lot of the good creators that I respect and have talked to all say the same thing, where they're like, "Yeah, man, it's a struggle because every video I feel like needs to be better than the last."
Yeah, there's no way to figure it out. Like you can always have a sense if it's going to be better, but there's no way to know if it's going to be better until you post it to the public and they tell you whether or not it's your best video.
Right,
it's so hard
because rarely does your favorite video line up with what the most successful video you've had is. Speaking of, what's your favorite video you've ever made?
There's something about that video I made with Jad because of how different of a production process it was compared to
sketch.
The sketch. Yeah. Just taking a current event that happened and drawing out, coming up with a shot list and going in and thinking about different camera tricks I can do because I hadn't made a skit like that in like 2 years. And that's how I got started and going in on 2 of my accounts, one of them just filming, the other one I'm like bringing in all these like objects and stuff and dressing this dude up to look like a snarky asshole and have like the I think it was like the Stronghold of Security book, something like that, just to make him have like the reading a book animation, and then editing it so that like it looks like he's looking up and down at the book, like up and down as if he's like lecturing Jad sitting in a fucking bench in this like office room. That was so fun to make, and it paid off so well, and it still to this day is like in the last 5 months has performed better than any other by release episode I've put up.
What?
And it was
really?
Yeah.
What's it at now?
186K views.
Interesting.
Yeah, and it wasn't, it was a ton of fun. I think it was almost a little too long for what I would have liked. It's around like the 7-minute mark. And,
yeah, that is a bit long.
Yeah, it's definitely longer than the average skit, but it worked out great. I think, like, looking back, it made me realize how much I've progressed in terms of presenting pace, and
it was good. It was clean.
It was fun.
That was some
it was
good
so
writing,
fun to make,
and it was some good editing.
Yeah,
that shit was clean.
It was one of those videos where I really did put together like a more formal production process, like pre-production, in that I had a shot list. I went in on final draft and had a whole, like, just for my own sake, like, I went in to test myself, and I had a whole formatted script, like a traditional screenplay kind of deal. Went in, did all the voice acting, like how you would normally put together voice lines, doing one character at a time, and then mashing it together so that it sounds like a natural conversation. It was so fun. It was so different. It was just like a perfect opportunity to do, and that's what made it unique, because, like, by release, I've got the shit laid out. I can do that nonstop until I finish the goal of the series, whereas this was a current event. It was happening. I published this. I wrote it like the day after this whole thing happened in the community, and then published it 2 days after I wrote it. So it was like, it all came together perfectly, and it was just like one of those things that came to me out of nowhere. And it just I showed myself that I had kind of progressed as a creator, and I still had it, baby. I still had it going on. So it was cool.
It was good. I like your skit writing.
Yeah.
More than your other writing, but not because the other writing's bad, but might just be personal taste.
Yeah, you fucker. You better like all my writing. I'm the best writer, probably. Fucker. Dude, writing is so different, though, for the shit I do for by release, because I take like a Freeman's Mind take on it.
What the hell does that mean?
You ever seen Freeman's Mind? It's like the best. It's like the best machinima series ever made, in my opinion. It's Half-Life. Played Half-Life before?
I mean, I'm familiar. I've never actually played it, but I've seen a lot of Half-Life. I know what it is.
So it's like
it's just a machinima in Half-Life.
In a way, it's like the character in Half-Life is Gordon Freeman.
Okay.
Right. Yep. So it's Gordon Freeman, and this guy, I think it's like Accursed Farms or something. That's the guy's name. He goes in and just plays through. He probably plays without any commentary, just raw footage from in-game, and you can tell by the way he plays, he's setting himself up for jokes and stuff. And the whole premise of the series is it's Gordon Freeman's thoughts through everything, just raw, uncut footage, like no cuts for jokes or anything, just straight gameplay all the way through the entire game. And he just writes a script, and
I can see how that's exactly what you're doing.
Right. I'd go in and I am like taking note, and I'm doing things like in game, focusing on things like maybe even dragging out a shot a little longer than normal to remind myself, like, make this joke here, or I'll go voiceover in OBS real quick. I'll be like, make the joke about this guy being an idiot and looking like a Beastie Boys rapper, whatever.
Yep.
And then I'll make it in a more like professional way and deliver it so it's actually funny. And it's, I don't know, it's such a different writing process, but it's
I like doing that. I kind of do something similar to that with Iron Man, but it doesn't quite work with White Wolf.
Yeah,
because White Wolf is so much about just, it's just get a kill, next level, get a kill, next level, get a kill, next level, and then once you get to another like level of item breakpoints, or we need to go do a quest, then there's some explaining involved, and it's much more me taking players through the game mechanics.
Yeah.
Iron Man, I like that kind of Freeman's Mind approach where I do a lot of dumb shit
Yeah.
in Iron Man and say things that are irrelevant to the game,
Yeah.
that are just my thoughts
Exactly.
while I'm doing stuff, as opposed to recording clips of me saying, yes, I got this level. And then the next clip is me saying, I'm going to go over here and do this thing because we need to unlock this to get this. And then the next clip is like, hey, I'm unlocking this,
Right.
Which is a great, again, that's kind of what I'm doing with the White Wolf. Because I realized there's too much, I have way too much to do in the White Wolf to spend time on the Freeman's Mind stuff. I don't have time to do that in a video. I end up cutting all of it.
Yeah, it's also PvP based, and I know the 3 PvP videos I've made, it's like you need to do some live commentary about what's going on, like your reaction, because that's what that is.
Yeah,
and it doesn't, unless you're like you're a narrative guy. You build narratives around the story, so it's like you've got that style where you'll have the live commentary, and then you'll jump into the whole the narration version of you that's explaining this is what just happened, so now I'm gonna go do this, and you got the jokes in between coming from the narrator most out of everything. So
yeah, I wish I like that I have a character that I always use for me as the narrator. That's been kind of fun to have. I kind of wish it was me on camera. I don't know if that would work though.
Could green screen it up, baby. Let's get it going.
I plan on probably trying it, but I don't want to try it in the middle of White Wolf because I like the video to have its consistency. And it almost has a are you familiar with The Witcher? Wait, no, you watched The Witcher.
Oh, I'm familiar, baby.
Right. It has a Jaskier Geralt like dual character.
Yeah.
I have the narrator, Jaskier, who's making jokes and telling stories and stuff. And then I have the White Wolf character so I'm actually Jaskier and the White Wolf is actually Geralt. And I get to, kind of tell that story. That's super fun. I like doing that a lot.
Yeah. It's just like little things you kind of develop in your head, but it's fun. RuneScape video making is fun. I feel like I've been making RuneScape videos for the last 6 years.
Yeah.
And it's taken a while to get this whole gist of narrator and writing down for it, and it's worked out great. And now all I want to do is just
not just do something new.
Just not necessarily that. It's like I want to take these things I've learned and like expand the creative freedom of it.
Yep.
Like there's so much more I could be doing with this kind of style that I've learned to like myself, because that's one of the hardest parts about being a creator is like figuring out what really works and that you're happy with. And now that I've found it and people like it, I'm like, all right, let's see what else I can do. Come on, let's go journey. But it's just getting everyone on board for that is where the complications come in.
Yeah, and I never wanted to be a RuneScape content creator.
I don't think anyone ever truly.
Actually, that's
does.
not true. There's a lot of people who that is their goal when they set out.
That's true.
All they play is RuneScape, and all they want to do is create RuneScape videos, which is a fine thing to want. And there's like Torvesta that's all he wants to do, and he's kicking ass at it.
It's kicking everyone's ass at it.
Right, literally. Now I'm at a point where, like, I like the 2 series that I have. If I was maybe a little more organized or maybe a little more disciplined, I don't know if I could put out more content than I do. That's because I actually seem to hit a creative wall. I don't know if this is true for you, but I put so much into the videos that I make. I don't know that I could do more. And
I feel like mine's less of a wall, more of a cage, I guess. Yeah, okay. I feel like
a cage is just walls and a roof. I don't know. It's a metaphor. But
it's a metaphor.
What's your plan? Are you going to come out with
I'm just going to experiment,
videos?
dude. Yeah, I'm going to experiment with non-RuneScape videos for sure.
So what's next?
Probably Red Dead. All the different ideas I've had for that, and knowing that Like, if you watch Freeman's Mind, that concept with, like, thinking out loud with a character in game, I've, like, experimented with a few parts of it, and there's so many funny things that happen in that game. I'm like, I gotta do it. This is gonna be the next one.
Is that pretty much just a solo player experience, though?
In a way, but it's also
a lot
online.
of post-production as well.
Oh, yeah. It's all pretty much, like, all the narration and everything, it's all in post. That's like writing, like, looking back. Just how I do for by release. It's like, you record it, and then you look back and see, like, what can I make of this?
Right.
And, but with Red Dead, it's going to be a little more specific because, like, with by release, I've got the quest laid out for me. It's not going to change. It's set in stone. So Red Dead completely randomly generated NPCs, areas, conditions, everything. So I almost have to have a little more planning going in with, like, what I want an end goal to be.
Yeah, you need that pitch. The video is about blank because it ends at blank.
Right. And so that's kind of what I've been thinking about. And once I get that down more specifically of what I want to do, then I can go in, start from point A and slowly get to point B in a big long journey and then piece it together and then write, I guess, if that makes sense. But yeah. But I think that's also why I want to get into other games, because every other game that I get into is going to be like a new experience and a new approach, which is what keeps it interesting. And it's almost like every other game is going to call for a different creative exercise, I guess. It's like by release gets so stale, dude. I feel like I'm copy and pasting even though I'm not. Like, it's every episode is so different from each other, but it doesn't feel that way to me when I'm making it.
I get that feeling. Holy shit. I feel like every Iron Man, I'm like, I just did this.
Right.
I literally just did this. And then I watch it after putting in 3 or 4 hours of editing or 10 or whatever, and I'm like, oh, I actually kind of like this. This is good.
Yeah.
But while I'm doing it, I'm like, this is just fucking, it's the same. It's just more RuneScape content. I said this 7 episodes ago.
Yeah. There's so many. It's a constant mental game with yourself creating a series.
Yeah, and part of it is I am so tired of watching myself play RuneScape.
Oh my god, dude.
Like,
holy shit. I'm tired of playing RuneScape.
Right. But like, now, like, so for the average player, imagine you played through, you got online and you played for 3 hours. And you did some quests, you did some skilling, and then you did some PVM. I don't know. Now, when I'm editing a video, I've got 3 hours of footage for a 12, 13, 14-minute video. And that usually results from 10 to 30 hours of gameplay, but I only recorded 3 hours of it. Now, you have to watch those clips like 10, 11, 12 times.
Yeah.
Cumulatively throughout the entire editing process. And so I've watched myself play RuneScape for so many hours. It's insane. The first thing I said is, I'm going to gear up to go kill General Grador, and I have not done that yet.
Yeah,
we got a long way to go before we're there. I got a lot of skilling grinds. I got to get the Varix skirt. I got to get an onyx.
A cock.
I got to get a cock.
You have to get a cock.
I don't have
That's the most important part. So, well, let's take like the last 5 minutes. Let's just talk about this podcast for anyone who's still here listening to this. What we want to do with this, how we're going to do it, if we can come up with an answer to that question.
Cool, yeah.
So this podcast it's right now, as you could see, we did not have any sort of guideline here. We just sort of talk how we normally do. We're just kind of letting you guys in on this and letting us talk your face off. And if anyone listens to that, that's awesome. And it's just going to be random topics, and it's not always going to be RuneScape. I think that was the biggest thing, the biggest transition from the original Bankstandin podcast I had. that was strictly RuneScape current events and kind of interviewing RuneScape people. And this is going to be, it's going to have sprinkles of RuneScape. Like that last section is RuneScape, but it's also us talking about like our own personal creations, I guess. So if something major happens in RuneScape, we'll probably bring it up here. But there's so many things in life that happen. We want to talk about other shit and other games and other life events and stories. So we're going to bring that to the table, and that's what this is going to be. So
yeah, and the whole idea of Bankstandin is standing around shooting shit into the wee hours of the night. So that's kind of the motivation for this. We'll probably have other guests on that are that might be RuneScape video content creators. We also might have other people in the YouTube space, and then we might have random people. You
meet some good people at the grocery store sometimes. You never know when they're going to make for the best podcast guest. Who knows?
Yeah.
Our first podcast guest is going to kill this podcast, that's for sure. And he's also going to shit on RuneScape. So
fair. I mean, I'll shit on RuneScape all day.
Me too. I love it. It's my favorite pastime. But yeah, I guess that's about it. This is episode 1.
Yeah.
Just that.
Do we have like a jingle on the way out? I don't know. Are we gonna have any kind of music tracks or anything for transitions or an intro outro?
Man, if we feel like it, they'll know. I think that's
they'll know if it was in the video.
You heard
I guess.
Yeah, you'll know. You'll know if there is. That's how we're gonna do this.
Right.
And you know what? We should establish this now. Let's try. No promises. Let's try to keep this weekly. Let's try to do it.
Sounds good to me. It's not too hard.
I think we can do it. I think we're good guys. Hour and a half a week. Come on. I mean, granted, that's not including all the other shit we have to do that you guys don't have to put up with editing and that. But we can do it. We're good guys. We'll do it.
Yeah.
So let's do it.
Okay.
All right.
Cool.
Well, that's it. So you are all bad people. Is that a good send off?
That's no. That's not good. Okay. But it's the first episode, so you're allowed to screw it up.
Okay. You got anything for ending?
Nah. Thanks for listening, guys. We'll see you in the next one.
Okay. We'll see you in the next one. Okay. See ya. Bye.